Alright guys, let's get into this game on Fisherman's Bay in the even 90, and I haven't played this tank in quite some time, but right before Holiday Ops ended, I was trying to get as much coin as possible, so I was playing this vehicle, and also the Hawk 30, so I kept playing it even after Holiday Ops just to get a little more coin, even though that 50% coin boost goes away. But I wanted to continue playing this and the Hawk 30, and I was actually enjoying myself quite a bit. So we ended up on Fisherman's Bay, and the Even 90 is just like a really unique tank in the fact that you can take this thing almost anywhere and you're just going to outspot people, right? So normally I don't really like coming to this bush line. It's not the best because at tier 8 or higher, when people run CVS, you can get proxied, basically. Not proxied, but you and the enemy light tank, if you both run CVS, will spot each other here. And then also you have to worry about people coming up to this bush line. This bush from the south spawn is actually really effective at countering this. And I didn't think this would be the case, but once I started playing this bush a lot, I spot people a lot coming into this area. So I do like using this bush, and then in the even 90 you can get away with almost anything, right? So I will run this bush line. Even if we're not spotting somebody here, the chances that they light me coming up here with 54% concealment or whatever I have in my scouting setup, it's rare, right? So we outspot the Boris here. We're also spotting the Sta 1 that's back here, and that's why this area is pretty effective. You can see we're getting spotting damage on both of them. Our tank destroyers in the back are paying attention, and we have a lot of people over here. So I do want to put myself in this area. It's just, you have to be really, really careful, man, about approaching this bush line. That's all I'm telling you guys. In the even 90, again, it's almost a cheat code because you have so much concealment and your tank is so small that the chances you're going to get spotted are much less likely, but there is this gap here, right? And someone can get an angle on you as you come up, because it happened to me in the Batchat 12T. So we're getting shots into these guys that are pushing in. I don't think this is the best play for them. You know, you kind of go out to the open when you do this, and you can meander around this entire area of the map. Like, that's what I like to do. Like, I'll sometimes even come to here and see if I can outspot people. I'll come to this bush, I'll come to this bush line, I'll come to this bush. You can mess around in this entire area and then even go to where the E5 is if you want. I find the middle of the map to be pretty fun on the south spawn. The north spawn, yeah, you can come here. I usually only will come to this area and this area, though, because you see there's not really any other places. Like, you can try and poke right here. I think some people like to do that, but I just don't like the angle as much for whatever reason. I'm not a fan of the angle. I might try to do it more when I get the north spawn, but usually what I end up doing is I go back and forth between the mid and also this area over here that I was just telling you guys how to counter from the south. So I'm actually sitting here now kind of waiting for the Boris to see if he's going to poke out further or something like that. And again, this is what you can do. My Boris is also poking in this bush, and it's just like a peekaboo type thing, right? Like, you're just playing that kind of style, almost like you would on Overlord, where everyone pokes up and like you're trying to get shots at each other before the other one gets shots. In my opinion, I find this play kind of stupid. I know a lot of people absolutely love brawling, but to me, like, as a light tank player, I just like to avoid those types of things. Boris is trying to get really aggressive here, so we're just going to keep him spotted and hope people can get shots into him. I don't think this is a bad play on his part at this time, since we kind of lost the west, so he's going to be relatively safe here. I'm actually going to come around, and if I have to take a shot from this guy, I will, but I'm going to go through here like this, try and get around before one of the tank destroyers in the back can hit me. It's a really risky play, but I really want to try and eliminate this guy's HP, because this is a problem. You know, you don't want someone sitting in this area. Artie's now going to target me, which makes perfect sense. I swear, man, like, Arties get hard on when they see a freaking even 90, right? Because they have no armor. You can splash them for freaking 300. The guy didn't even hit me directly, and he still hit me for 266. You know, it's a tier 8 Artie. So the Boris making this play, again, it's a problem. Really, for lack of better terms, it's a problem, guys, because you don't want to lose the mid. Once you lose the mid, since we've already kind of lost the east as well, we're going to end up doing that thing where the entire team is just going to sit in this back corner like HJK 1 2 3, and you don't really want to do that. You want to fall back to that area. If there's nothing, if you don't own any other parts of the map, and you have to, but I'd rather not, you know, have to fall back to that area and sit in a bush and just wait for the rest of this game. We're only 5 minutes into the game. I want to try and own as much map as possible at all times, because once you start losing map, it's much easier to lose the game. This is why I always tell you guys, try to win map, and we're just losing a lot of map, right? So I'm actually making this pass. We spotted the 112. With the even 90, you can literally just make like active scout runs, because you're not going to get spotted. You know, it's so easy to be able to determine when you're going to get spotted, kind of like Ayuxin does, right? Where he'll sit like 350 meters away from someone in the wide open, because he understands the game mechanics. But like, I'm really comfortable doing it with the even 90, because at tier 8 people don't have as much view range and stuff, right, as they do at tier 10, and it's the same thing. You're just using the game mechanics. Like, you have 54% concealment. You can literally go like, you see where the Borisk is right now? I know that I won't be spotted by the Borisk based on like my view range circle, right? And even if he gets to like maybe right here, like in this area, like you still know you're probably not going to be spotted. So you can use the game mechanics and just use the distance you are away from people to determine whether you're going to get spotted or not. You can just make active runs, man, and just spot people without even being lit yourself. You know, you can do the same thing in all light tanks, but you're much more likely to get spotted when you have 40% concealment compared to 54, right? So we get a shot into the XM66F here. We got one before as well. We're able to clean him up, and I'm just sitting in this area. You can come to this bush right here. So if these people poke, they still won't light me, and I'm able to light them in return. And you can do this. You can counter people effectively that way. And I wanted to show you guys this replay also because eventually we poke up here in this bush line, and we're going to get shot after shot after shot, and we're not using the full clip, right? So I make this little active run here. I get spotted through like one of these little gaps probably. Or it's possible that, I don't know, like some kind of weird game mechanics happened where the even 90 was like in the bush and the CVS kicked in for him. As I was making that run, but I feel like it's way too far out. So I think there's just like a gap here that I went through or something, maybe like right here. You wouldn't believe it, guys, but I'm telling you, you got to be so careful of like little gaps in bush lines. I talk about it on Prokhorovka all the time. You can get spotted through these little gaps. It's also possible that as I poked up here, maybe the even was sitting like in this bush line or something, and he spotted me through those gaps. So you just have to be really, really careful of that, man. Like really, really careful. I'm coming up here, and we're staying completely in the bushes this time. Style 1 isn't spotting me. He's not running CVS, obviously. Most mediums don't run CVS unless it's a Prokhorovka. And we're poking up, taking one shot into him, and pulling back. And we're not using the whole clip, right? I don't have to in this situation. It's stupid for me to poke up and wait and sit there to reload again for another 2 seconds on the interclip, right? And get like smacked by the 112 in the back or something. It's just not worth it. So you don't always have to be using the clip, guys. Even 90 gets spotted here. I'm not sure exactly who spotted him, but I'm able to get a shot into this guy. I put one into him, and I pull back, and I go on reload, because now we only have one shell, right, in the magazine. But you don't have to use the whole clip or the whole magazine, guys. Like, take one shot, take 2 shots, and reload, and rinse and repeat. It's a 20-something second reload, but this is a really close game. I want a full clip every single time I'm going to be making a play to, like, approach the enemy. That's where I want the full clip. So now I'm going to fully reload, and now I'm going to support these guys, because it's only the Tiger in the back, the E5 in the middle, and then the 112 and the even here. So I'm thinking at this point, especially now that the Ardia is gone, like, we're focusing in only this area. So I'm just going to kind of ignore the E5. It's like, whatever, man. And I'm going to rush in and go after the 112 and the even. I spot them here. You can see the even had to take a shot at me. Now he has to back down. 112 is the same way. You know, these guys are going to be putting themselves in harm's way. They're both one-shots. And we can just keep them proxied for now as someone cleans up the T26 E5. And we're just keeping them right here. Right? And eventually people are able to get shots into them. And now we can outplay these guys. Right? Because I think, in my opinion, they should have been back here instead. But they put themselves here, and now we can surround them easily. We clean up the even, and I think we played this game very well. I think the even also was a good player. We didn't really out-scout or out-spot this guy, I would say. But overall, I think we played it very, very well. And I think it gives you guys good tips on kind of how to play the mid, then how to adjust if you lose the east, you know, how to kind of, you know, poke up and spot people near this G or H line, and just adjusting. Like, adjust to the situations, adjust to the map, guys, adjust to what you're seeing on the map, and adjust to the enemy team. And I think we did it fine here. Really, 2172 damage, 2789 assist, and to do over 2k damage in this vehicle is pretty good. We got 3 kills as well. So, no fast forwarding that whole replay, right, guys? I hope you enjoyed. Again, I don't think this is a spectacular performance. Like, I've had much better performances on Fisherman's Bay, but I think we did what we needed to do, and we got a first-class game out of it. And again, this is my setup. I don't think I discussed this at the beginning, but I am just running it with CVS in the scouting slots, standard optics, and Bounty low noise exhaust. And look at the I didn't have the concealment open, but I can promise you guys that it's about 54.5% concealment when you're running it with this setup and with like Brothers in Arms and full concealment and all that over here. Like, it's absurd, the concealment on this vehicle at tier 8. So use that to your advantage in all the games, man, you know? And also use the gun. Like, I know the gun sucks, but if you're able to push into people, you can dish out, I believe it's like 640 damage or 660 damage. I think it's 220-ish shot on the even, if I'm not mistaken. But you have 3 shots, right, within like maybe 6 or 7 seconds. So use that to your advantage, man. I never did damage in the even, so I average around 900 damage in this vehicle because I was always just spotting with it and making a point to spot and putting myself in situations where I can only spot. And now that I've kind of changed my playstyle, I like to do more damage and be a little bit more defensive or offensive in defensive situations, if that makes sense, where I'm poking up and doing damage rather than just sitting in a bush and trying to, you know, rely on my tank destroyers behind me to do the damage. So that's all, guys. I'll show you the team score in the detailed report. Here it is. We're top by experience, second, third, whatever by damage here. Looks like. And again, their team played pretty well, man. They had a really good player in the BZ176. They already even played well. These 2 guys from the Amped clan, they played it well, man. But we were just able to get the better of these guys. But these are the games that are fun, guys, right? They're rare. You very rarely get games that are this close, so when you do get them, make sure you stay alive to enjoy yourself and de-stress from those games that are like 4-minute stops, man, because they're so freaking annoying. 15 shots fired, guys, 13 hits, 11 pens. That's good for the even, considering how bad the gun is. It's just the aiming time, man. Like, look at the aiming time, 2.6 seconds. That's absurd. Like, it's balanced though, right? Because if the even had a really, really accurate gun, I mean, that would just be broken because the thing is invisible. So that's all, guys. 9-minute game. It actually wasn't that long. I mean, for compared to most games, but it wasn't like anything close to 15 minutes. So it felt longer than 9 minutes and 37 seconds. But that's all, guys. Hope it helps you out on Fisherman's Bay. Catch you for the next one. Take care.